It's time to roll out the red carpet for your tabletop miniatures with some battle mats from Frontline Gaming. Hey everyone, David the War Boss from Dad Hammer here, back for another review. And if you're a fan of the multitude of tabletop war games like Warhammer, Star Wars Legion, or Marvel Crisis Protocol, you know that the miniatures themselves are really only half the game. All of these games require some special terrain or scenery that will allow the benefits of cover or potentially a special game objective depending on the game that you're playing. And they also provide that visual wow factor and immersion for the players during the game. Now you can build your own terrain or purchase one of the many kits available online or perhaps at a local game store. However, the big question then becomes, where do you put all of this cool terrain that you have assembled and purchased and spent all of your time on? Sure, you can use a dining room table, a kitchen table, or even a ping pong table if you have one, but that cool immersive terrain that you bought and assembled goes down a peg when you're trying to pair it with the table runner that Grandma made you 5 years ago. Sorry Grandma, just saying. So what you're looking for is some type of dedicated playing surface, ideally with some battlefield debris or cool details built into the surface to really bring out that immersion. You have a couple of options when faced with this problem. The first option is a fold-out cardboard battle board that typically comes in one of the larger box sets from Games Workshop, for example. These are really nice and have a lot of great details built into the surface of them. The problem though is that they have some fold lines and they're relatively small, meaning you're going to have to piece multiple of these sheets together if you want to expand to larger games. The second option, and the topic of this review, is a battle mat, which is typically made out of a neoprene material, or more commonly referred to as something like a mouse pad type feel. These are great. They usually have a lot of details printed on one or both sides, and they have a nice cushion to them, which makes them great for placing miniatures, terrain, or rolling dice. Now there are many companies that make these types of battle mats. The ones that I have chosen today are from Frontline Gaming. Now this is not a paid endorsement of any kind. I have purchased these battle mats and I use them on the regular for my own tabletop games. So before we get into the review itself, let's check out the Dad Hammer scoring system. Okay, so these are the three mats that I have pulled for the review from Frontline Gaming. These are not the only three mats that I have, and of course they sell many others, but these are the ones that I wanted to showcase because I think they represent a different type of narrative or setting and a good representation of what Frontline Gaming has to offer. These are the 6x4 mats, and I use those just to cover the most amount of space for Warhammer 40,000 or Age of Sigmar games. But I've also used them for Dungeons and Dragons, and it's just nice to have a lot of space. It covers the whole thing. So this first one is the Grasslands mat. This one here is what's called Summit, and this is just the Asphalt battle mat that can be used primarily for Warhammer 40,000. They have several variants of this. There's one that has some streets and roads and things like that, but you can see some of the detail where they've got a sewer grate, some debris. There's other spots on here where it's got an oil spill, but all of these mats have a really nice premium feel where this is that mouse pad type of a texture. On the bottom it's got a nice grip, so it's not going to go anywhere if you put it down on a wooden table, for example. The other thing about this is that it's going to be somewhat spill resistant. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I have on occasion spilt coffee or other types of cocktails or even beer on tops of these battle mats, and as long as you get to them fairly quickly, they absorb right away. The other thing that is kind of a benefit and works into your favor, if you spill something on a mat like this, for example, you're not going to be able to tell because it's already got a bit of a muddy, grimy type of a texture anyway. So imagine spilling something on top that is potentially coffee. It's really just going to seep right in. You're not going to know the difference. In fact, I have spilt coffee on this one right here, for example, and you really can't tell. So that's another added benefit. Maybe if you've got children that you're not sure if you want them around because they're going to spill drinks or something like that on there. That's not really a concern in my opinion, and I speak from experience, having spilt multiple types of drinks on top. Another thing I want to showcase is the difference between a Frontline Gaming battle mat and that of a cardboard battle board that typically comes in a war set or something like that from Games Workshop. This one is a fold out where it's got double sides, and as you can see, it's really nice, but the problem is it's got these creases down the middle, which may or may not be a problem for you, but I tend to like the immersion whenever I'm dealing with Warhammer 40,000 or Age of Sigmar specifically, and the battle mat here from Frontline Gaming really gives you that feel. It doesn't have the lines in the middle. The other thing I wanted to showcase is when you roll dice on tops of these battle boards, it obviously makes that sound, and it's not a huge deal. Sometimes that can be a satisfying sound. And the difference though is that they're going to slide around. You may have that problem with terrain and miniatures as well, as those are going to slide around, whereas in this case, they're fairly stationary. The dice are going to be more muted when you roll them, and in my opinion, that's just a nicer thing. But again, these are not must-haves, but it is very much of a nice-to-have. One last thing I wanted to cover in this review is the fact that Frontline Gaming, when you purchase a battle mat, provides you this nice case, carrying case that goes along with it. It's a nice little nylon texture, can hold the battle mat really tightly when it's rolled up, and it even comes with some straps where you can either carry it to a friend's house or a local game store, or even hang it up by the end here. As you can see, there's another strap. The tag on the end will identify what the battle mat is, so if you've got several of these like I do, this is really handy. It's a nice plastic type of a tag or a card. It tells you the name of the battle mat, also the size if you play multiple games or you've got multiple different varieties of types of these battle mats. So I purchased these from other companies, and this one is really nice from Frontline Gaming because it comes with the case, and not all of the organizations that you purchase these from will include that. So if you can't tell already, I'm a big fan of Frontline Gaming's battle mats. These three that I've reviewed here are high quality, but they make loads of others. They've got a wasteland, they've got snow, all different types for you to choose from. You can even use those in different games. They've got a space or a planetary type of environment for maybe if you play Star Wars, but these are really nice with the bag, the tags on the end, the nice premium feel, and the mouse pad finish to them with different details and narrative on that you can weave throughout your games and whatnot. So with that said, let's get on to the scoring. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more reviews like this, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss any more of our content from Dad Hammer. I'm David the War Boss, and we'll see you next time.